What's up, guys and girls? Welcome back to another video. A lot of people have been talking about how the Pokemon market is crashing, but because of that, is now a time to be buying into the Pokemon market? I'm going to break it down for you today, talking about a couple things I might think that are undervalued. So sit back, relax. If you're ready for that, let's hop right in. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is really stuff, obviously, that I feel is undervalued, and that's going to be a couple of the ETBs that are in the current Scarlet and Violet block. That's going to be Paldean Fates, Surging Sparks, Twilight Masquerade. All three of these ETBs I think are undervalued for what they are or when they're going to be rotated out. I'll start off with just Twilight Masquerade because that's probably the cheapest one. I mean, it might be the cheapest ETB in the entire block. I think it's cheaper than Surging Sparks. Shrouded Fable is now, which is absolutely insane to say. Like, more people want Shrouded Fable than they want Twilight Masquerade. One has a $300 chase, one doesn't. Seems pretty crazy to me, but you know, a lot of people have been buying Shrouded Fable a lot more. You know, it's a specialty set, so a lot of people buying it. Twilight Masquerade has been kind of left in the dust since that huge reprint that happened. And honestly, when people are fearful of a crash, because a lot of stuff has been stagnant in price or going down in price because there aren't as many buyers right now. A lot of people have been moving either to other TCGs, have been moving, you know, out of the market entirely. A lot of crypto people are fleeing because, you know, crypto is kind of crashing as well. A lot of things are. And when people are fearful, that's when you need to be greedy. That's when you need to be buying into stuff. So things like Twilight Masquerade at, you know, $65, $70 a box is a pretty good deal. And I know a lot of people might be saying, you know, it's not MSRP, so I don't want to buy it. But a lot of places have recently risen their MSRP for ETBs. I'm just saying, like, GameStop is now $60 a box. Walmart now $60 a box. That's if you find it in store and it hasn't been already ransacked by people who want to scalp it and stuff like that to try and sell it for $65, $70, which in and of itself is absolutely crazy. Like, scalpers, guys, that's like not worth your time and effort to try and sell for $5 profit. But that's neither here nor there or whatever. But, you know, if you can find it online for 65, 70 bucks, that's a pretty good deal, all things considered. Like, you're not going to find much better. I think cases even are like $60 a box, $70 a box. You can basically get a case of ETBs. In fact, I picked up a case of ETBs for Twilight Masquerade for the same price you would pay per ETB. That's an insane deal. There's obviously a case premium associated with these sorts of things over time. So if you're looking to pick something up like that, you know, it's not a bad time to do it. Like I said, a lot of people are scared right now. A lot of people are kind of panic selling a lot of stuff. And ETBs are kind of, you know, on the chopping block. They had a reprint recently. There's a lot of stock of them online. A lot of people have them. They're trying to sell them. That's why I think Twilight Masquerade is obviously kind of a undervalued pickup. Obviously, it's got the Greninja in it. You know, people are going to want to open that in the future. Greninja is obviously a very popular Pokemon. He has been for a while. Having a chase card like that in the future, people are going to want it. Also, I did want to say, if you are enjoying the video, if you could like and subscribe, it helped me out a ton. 95% of y'all aren't subscribed, so if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, help me out. Back to the video. Next up, I did want to talk about Surging Sparks, and this is honestly an ETB in almost the exact same situation as Twilight Masquerade. Both of these ETBs, I think Surging is a little bit more expensive. It's about 70, 75. Both these ETBs are insanely like cheap compared to like the value that is inside. Like, if we talk about value, Prismatic is obviously at the top, 151 is up there, Paldean Fates, and then you got like Surging Sparks and Twilight Masquerade as like top 5, 6 sets in value for Scarlet Violet. Like, they're up there with like some of the more expensive things because they have expensive chase cards, which is what ultimately decides whether a booster box goes up in price. If you're telling me like Fusion Strike back then, it had an expensive Gengar and everyone's like, oh, it sucks or whatever. And then, you know, as time went on, it got more and more expensive and more people liked the Gengar and they were like, oh, I want to open that. So they bought it, you know, and price went up. Surging Sparks and Twilight Masquerade, I feel like are going to be in the exact same boat for both ETBs and booster boxes, obviously, but we're just talking about ETBs in this case. Where $70 for this ETB, if you're talking 3-4 years from now, when it's fully rotated out, it's not being printed anymore, this Pikachu is expensive and it's like a $700 card, $700 card. Like, the ETB will probably be a $200 ETB realistically in 4 years, and that might be underselling where it could be. Realistically, in 4 years from now, you're telling me this couldn't be a $400 ETB? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? But you can look ahead into the future for these sorts of things and predict the price for these sets. As the price of the total set goes up, the ETB has to rise with that, and the ETBs are deflationary in that way. You know, they go down in supply, the prices will go up. It's just like how the economics of TCGs work. But because of that, you know, I think it's undervalued in that sort of way. There's a lot of value in the set. Obviously, some of the IRs are kind of whatever, but like you have the Latios, the Pikachu. Those are kind of the big three that people want. Obviously, some of the trainers are kind of enjoyable. I don't remember the trainers that are fully in it. I know there's Lacey, maybe. Is that the one that's in it? I don't know, there's a couple trainers in it. Twilight Masquerade has definitely some hitters that are trainers, and I think that might do well long term for Twilight. But overall, both these sets, they seem like no-brainers. They're the cheapest ETBs. Like, they have some of the most expensive cards in them, and they're the cheapest ETBs. If somebody's opening to gamble, they're going to open the cheapest thing that has the most potential return. And both Twilight and Surging fit that bill. Why would you pay $70 for a Shrouded Fable ETB when it's like the best thing you're going to pull is like, I don't know, Earth and Vessel Gold? It's whatever. But if you open, you know, a Surging Sparks or a Twilight Masquerade, you could pull a $300 card in Greninja and Pikachu. Just makes a lot of sense. I think these prices will go up over time as the supply from the restock kind of dwindles downward. Just what I think. Let me know. Lastly, I did want to talk about Paldean Fates. Obviously, I've made videos in the past about how Paldean Fates I think is just one of the best sets to invest into for like Scarlet Violet era in general. It's being rotated out in next year in 2026, so they're not going to probably make much more of it. Like, realistically, it was on the short end of the stick. It's not going to be printed a whole lot more. It'll be hitting its 2-year point in the beginning of 2026, and then it'll be rotated out. Basically going to be the lifespan for Paldean Fates. And what does Paldean Fates have that everyone wants? Actually, probably 3 high-end chase cards that people will want to open. Now, obviously, ETBs aren't really the things that get opened for Paldean Fates. Normally, it's the tech stickers, the booster bundles, things like that. But, you know, as the prices of those go up because more of them are opened, eventually ETBs might be the things that get open. Plus, just in general, the ETBs are very collectible. They obviously look nice, they display nice. I think, you know, people want them for the collection. I know I personally want them for my collection. In fact, I've been trying to find one to buy for a reasonable price. They're down to like $250, $260 now, which is, you know, probably where they'll find a bottom, hopefully. I could see them maybe dropping back down to 200, but below that, I don't know if they'll really drop too much lower because, you know, as much as there's a lot of fear in the market, there's a lot of people who have heavy bags and don't want to sell for a loss unless things got really dire. But Paldean Fates is just one of those sets. Obviously, it's got the Bubble Mew, it's got the Charizard, it's got the Gardevoir, all huge cards that people are going to want for, you know, later on down the line. Their 3 favorite Pokemon. The Bubble Mew is like an iconic card of the generation. I would not be surprised if it and Moonbreon or Sunbreon from Prismatic are the 2 neck and neck cards for the entire generation, even more than the Charizard, just because like they're so iconic. Like, literally, if you look at them, you'll be like, oh, that's Bubble Mew, that's Sunbreon. Like, Charizard is cool, but it doesn't really have like a nickname to like kind of make it pop. So I just think it'll be the 3rd tier, like the 3rd one down. It's not a bad spot for 151, obviously, but I think the other 2 will be leagues above it. But overall, Paldean Fates, super great set. Not a whole lot of it printed. Seems like Pokemon didn't really print a whole lot because at first no one liked it, and then as the year went on, people were like, oh, I actually love this set. And so, you know, it kind of went and got more expensive. But overall, wasn't a whole lot printed. They haven't reprinted the ETBs as far as I know, like, because there wasn't a whole lot of demand in the beginning for it. So ETBs continue to rise up. I think they're, you know, they've dropped like $40 since their peak of like $300 a couple months ago. Now, if things are dropping and people are being fearful, like I said, be greedy. Pick one up if you're able to. I'm not saying like financial advice but if you're a collector and you're looking to it, man, this might be the lowest price it'll be for a while. I'm personally looking into picking one up for my collection. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me today. If you enjoyed the video, if you could like and subscribe like I mentioned earlier in the video, help me out a ton. Otherwise, I think that's going to be it for me. Let me know what you guys think. Are you picking up any of these ETBs? Are you looking for anything else that might be undervalued currently? Like I said, a lot of stuff has kind of been on the downtrend right now. So let me know what you think. Appreciate y'all. Check out the Discord. Links in the description, especially if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Appreciate y'all. Take care.